made them safer and prepared them for any diseases that might come to them. And in terms of the 9/11 attacks, you may remember that shortly after the attacks, many people received letters that claimed to have infected the opener of the letter with anthrax. Many of these cases turned out to be true. Many people in the US were infected with anthrax. Many people got sick, several people died. As I mentioned, if left untreated, anthrax could be deadly.
4 workers from the Brentwood Road facility in Washington, D.C. went to the hospital with symptoms of anthrax poisoning. Among them, Thomas L. Morris was unfortunately misdiagnosed and sent home with the standard flu, and was told to self-medicate with Tylenol until he felt better. On the other hand, 56-year-old Leroy Richmond also presented the same symptoms. After being treated with Cipro, Richmond made a full recovery. His compatriot, on the other hand, passed away shortly after his misdiagnosis. The power of Cipro saved more than just Richmond's life, and through proper administration, he was left to be resting comfortably in his home only after a few days. Here is a figure depicting the known and estimated inhalation of anthrax and the incubation period of the 2001 anthrax attacks. This is a rough estimate. We believe that there could be more. But of the cases in the United States, those treated with Cipro made a full recovery.
So on a more medical side, ciprofloxacin was revolutionary because it was one of the first broad-spectrum antimicrobials of its kind. It could treat really well against gram-negative bacteria, such as those that cause urinary tract infections, ear, nose, and throat infections, and even gastrointestinal infections. Additionally, something special about the drug was that it had slight effectiveness towards gram-positive bacteria. It wasn't as effective compared to gram-negative bacteria, but it was still there. And the diverse nature of ciprofloxacin caused many people to take it because they wanted to ensure that they'd be as healthy as possible. Unfortunately, because many people took it, many people began to develop fluoroquinone-associated disability. And people who begin to demonstrate who have this condition show nervous system deficits, headaches, stomach pains. They basically experience a wide array of negative symptoms. And it was found that these symptoms are because of antibiotics such as ciprofloxacin. As I mentioned a couple of seconds ago, ciprofloxacin is able to treat against both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. And this is primarily due to the nature of the fluorine group, which is why they're called fluoroquinones. But this fluorine group also makes them able to target healthy cells in individuals. When they target healthy cells, they cause oxidative stress to mitochondrial DNA, eventually causing programmed cell death, or apoptosis. And of course, this death of 1 or 2 cells isn't that big of a deal, but when it's widespread all across the body, it becomes very serious. Many people who had this disability actually did end up getting it during the Gulf War. People would be taking it a lot, and they ended up getting sick from it. And as a result, today, fluoroquinones are prescribed very conservatively. They don't give it out too often. Instead, they would give another antibiotic that's more specific to what the patient is suffering from. And now more on an economic side, when ciprofloxacin was first released, it yielded massive profits for Bayer Pharmaceuticals. In 1999, it was ranked as the 7th most prescribed drug in the US. And even though it's nowhere near as high today, it's still within the top 200. In 2017, it was ranked as the 107th most prescribed drug, and it shows that ciprofloxacin is still relatively heavily prescribed across the U.S., and that it's still relevant in the medical world. So, Now you may be asking, was ciprofloxacin a blockbuster drug? And my group and I, after researching, after writing our paper, and after forming our presentation, we thought, yes, 100% definitely, that ciprofloxacin was a blockbuster drug for three different reasons. The first, it was one of the first antibiotics capable of treating a wide array of bacterial infections. It can treat against many gram-negative and a few gram-positive bacteria. You might be asking yourself, oh, it doesn't treat against gram-positive bacteria, so it sucks. But it was because of this deficiency towards gram-positive bacteria, that opened the gateway for more effective antibiotics. Ciprofloxacin is what is typically known as a second-generation fluoroquinone. Today, we use fourth-generation fluoroquinones. And that just shows you that after medicinal chemists saw the effects of ciprofloxacin, they didn't just say, this compound sucks, we don't love this family, it sucks and we're going to throw it away. No, they saw the benefits to it. They saw that there were good functional groups on the compound, and they took the ones they liked. They modified the structure so that it could not only be more effective, but render less side effects. And that's one of the primary reasons why third generations such as levofloxacin and fourth generations such as gemifloxacin came into existence to improve upon the old formula. And you may be asking yourself, but what about the disability that fluoroquinones causes? How can you say it's a blockbuster if it causes people pain? And the group and I thought that side effects shouldn't take away the label of a blockbuster, because no drug is perfect. Many drugs that have been defined as revolutionary, many in the book we read, have had side effects. Say, for example, take aspirin. Aspirin was revolutionary because it was an analgesic, but if you take too much of it, you can get stomach problems. And there are many other cases of many other drugs in the world. And it's shown that as long as you take ciprofloxacin conservatively, you don't need to worry about the disability that goes along with it.
There's a very helpful portion of this clip made by the CDC and published on the CDC's website that I would like to share with everyone before you leave.
If you breathe in anthrax, the first thing you would need to do is take antibiotics. There are several types of antibiotics that can protect you from anthrax. During an emergency, health officials will make announcements about where to get them. Antibiotics work in two main ways: by killing the anthrax or by stopping the anthrax from growing. When anthrax can't grow anymore, it dies. It's important to take antibiotics right away, before you feel sick, so the medicine can spread out in your body and find the anthrax germs before they start to make toxins. This helps keep you from getting sick. It can take a long time for antibiotics to get rid of all the anthrax in your body. It could even take months. That's why you need to keep taking antibiotics for as long as you're directed, even if you feel fine. If you stop taking antibiotics before you're supposed to stop, the anthrax can start growing again and make you sick. Antibiotics are your best chance for staying healthy throughout an anthrax attack. They could even save your life.